Anybody that knows history of California amateur golf and golf clubs would know that Joe Novak is a pivotal figure.
Well, he was Mr. Golf in Southern California. Anything that had to do with the game of golf, they all included Joe Novak because he was the most prominent figure in the community.
My name is Joe Novak. My dad is Joe Novak. Interesting thing, my dad grew up in Butte, Montana, which is not exactly the home of golf. And he used to caddy there for a dime a bag. They had executives from the Anaconda Copper Company that wanted a golf course. It had sand greens. And through one of the members, my dad got an introduction to go down to the Spokane Country Club and turned pro at 16. Then moved down to the Berkeley Country Club, and then arrived here at Bel Air in 1927, and was here until he passed away in 1984.
I believe that his greatest achievement in his career was that of being named president of the PGA of America.
He was the first PGA president west of the Mississippi.
There are some 3,000 members of that organization, and he was selected by all of them to serve and be their representative.
It just seemed like Southern California amateur golf, even though he was a pro, pretty much revolved around Joe because of his influence on all the members here at the club.
Joe had a multifaceted career, and he was involved as a player, as a teacher, as a parliamentarian, as president of the organization.
During the 30s, of course, my dad came here in 1927, and the Depression hit in 29.
It seems that, you know, there wouldn't be a Bel Air Country Club without Joe Novak.
One of his great accomplishments was his ability at that time to work with Alfonso Bell to manage the club through very difficult times.
The club was really struggling.
By the early 30s, it was really a question whether the club could keep going. Clubs all over the country were closing.
And Joe got all the entertainment people and asked them if they would guarantee their dues. You know, might have been Crosby and Clark Gable. Certainly people like Holly Boyce and Len Smith, who were members, all agreed to pledge their dues, not only for 6 months, but for a year. And Joe basically said, "You've just saved your club." A couple of things that Joe did for me is he really encouraged me to play and got into the game very early. You couldn't give up, even if you're playing a much better player or a stronger player. If you hang in there, you know, the race doesn't necessarily go to the swift.
A few years later, about the end of his time with us, because he got sick and went in the hospital, he brought a book, one of his books, and he presented it to me. And it said, "To Roy Marshall, a sure 70 shooter, Joe Novak." And I thought that was so special that he would take one of his books, you know, and give it to me with that front written in just for me. And when he went in the hospital, I called him and asked him how he was doing, and he obviously wasn't doing well, but he said, "Well, I hope I'm going to get back and see you at Bel Air," and as it turned out, he never did come back.
I think my fondest memory, he was just a nice man. He was a gentleman.
When you came to Bel Air Country Club, one of the first sights you saw was Joe Novak in some capacity. And you identified with him in Bel Air. He was synonymous. He commanded the respect of everybody he came in contact with. He did.
He was very willing to stop and chat with anyone. He would offer any help he could give. He was just a very special human being. He was one that I missed when he left the club.
This is from me to you, Joe. Wherever you are, and wherever you are, I'd like to be someday. But I want you to know that you've left your mark here at Bel Air, and there's not a day goes by that you aren't mentioned in some way, form, or fashion. And we look forward to seeing you somewhere along the line. We love you, Joe.
Joe, I congratulate you on your induction into the Southern California Golf Association Hall of Fame. Long overdue, but very deeply deserved.
I am very pleased and would like to congratulate Joe Novak for his induction into the SCGA Hall of Fame. He certainly is deserving of that honor.
I'm proud and honored to have my dad be inducted into the Southern California Golf Association Hall of Fame. It was he was a great dad, and I was so lucky to be here around the club and have all these fond memories.